Today I've got a really fun project that I'm going to share with you, and I am making gnome treat containers for my niece and nephew for Valentine's Day. So this is like just a total on the fly. This is the supplies that I have. Some I already have in my craft room. Some are ones that I went and bought. So I got the socks from Dollar Tree, and I got the little treat bottle that I'm going to be using from Dollar Tree. I just have this mini boa, and you can get this at any of your craft supply stores. Also with the faux fur, you can get this at any craft store or even Walmart. And the little pom-poms, and this is just one of the foam cones. It's one of the tinier ones, and you can get this at like Walmart or I actually got this one from Dollar Tree, but I don't know if they still carry them. But these were like the little tiniest cones that they make. These are absolutely so quick and simple to make. So you're going to take your little jar, and you can use a different jar besides something like this, but shove the jar all the way down into the sock. And then just make sure it's tight. Then just go ahead and chop this top part off with your scissors, just to make it easier to work with. Now, if you wanted to make your little gnome more plump on the sides, I would suggest just turning your sock inside out, putting a little bit of glue on the base of your bottle, and then putting it back on and stretching it tight. But just because my niece and nephew have smaller hands, I don't want to make it really puffy so it's hard to get the lid off. And we don't want to get any glue up here on the rim. So we're going to take our glue gun and stretch the pieces up of the sock and just adhere it around this edge. Get it close to the lid as possible without getting glue on the lid. And if you have any excess parts sticking out, you can just go ahead and put a little bit of glue on it and just glue it right down. And I'm definitely not a huge fan of using a glue gun because I always burn myself multiple times during making a project. So it's kind of awful. But the glue gun that I am using is it's actually a rechargeable. So, and my glue gun looks nasty, so I'm sorry. But it's a Surebonder, and you can take it off the base and use it for up to like 5 minutes before it actually loses its charge and you need to put it back on the base to recharge again. Super easy to use. Best glue gun that I have found. All right, now that we've got our little jar covered, we can move on to the next step. Now, when measuring out your faux fur, you're going to want to have it come right up to the lip. But however long your jar is, you're probably, depending up also on how long your fibers are in your fur, you're going to want to bring it down on your jar pretty good. I'm going halfway with this one. I think that's going to be enough fur, but you can bring it down however far you want. So I've already drawn out the pieces that I'm going to need for both of my, because remember, I'm going to be making 2 of these. I'm just making 1 on screen. So my fur for this one is going to be almost 2 inches by 3 1/8 inches. So when you cut your faux fur, you're going to want to make sure that you cut it from the back side, because if you cut it from the front, you're going to cut off all your long fibers right here, and it's not going to look very pretty. So you always want to cut your faux fur from behind and just snip the top. Don't really get in there and go like this with the whole scissors and like that. Don't do that. You're just going to snip slowly with your scissors. And this will keep your fur intact really good for your project. Keep your scissors right underneath of the felt or whatever the material is that it's on, and just snip, snip, snip. And then when you pull it, you're gonna have a cute little gnome beard. And there is some shedding with this, so I apologize for all the little fibers that are coming out. Just kind of pull and groom, because you are gonna have some fibers that come out. Next, we're just gonna glue the fur right up to the edge of the sock. And remember, we're not getting any glue on this lid because we want this to be able to open. So keep checking that throughout making this project. Make sure you don't glue your lid shut. Next, we're just gonna need one of our little pom-poms. And now I'm just going to be using some pastel chalks. This was one that I believe I may have picked up at a Hobby Lobby. But it's just a pastel chalk palette. So I'm gonna be using one of the lighter tones, and I'm just going to dip my little pom-pom in there and just give it more of a skin toned, or you can do it in whatever color you want. And if it needs a little darker, we can always touch that up a little bit later. And then we're just gonna glue this right into place. Little dot of glue right in the center. And stick the little nose down and make sure that glue doesn't get on that lid. Now we're gonna need our little cone, but this cone is much too big. You can see how it's a little bit bigger than the actual cap. And I want to cut this off to make it to where it's about the same size as the base of the cap. Because when you go to open this jar, if this is actually bigger than the jar cap, it's going to be really hard to twist open. I'm going to be using my Fiskars saw, and yes, it's dirty. I use this saw even outside. It's the best little saw that I have ever found, and I absolutely love it. I use it all the time. That's why it looks the way it does. I want it to be smaller than our jar cap. And cut it off straight, because we want the hat to be straight up in this. If you cut it at an angle, it might make opening the cap of the treat jar a little bit harder to open. That actually looks right on the money. So I think I'm just gonna keep that like that. Then just take your sock and slip it over top of the cone and glue it right around the edge of the lid. And you're gonna wanna make sure, and it's okay if the edge of the lid is showing, because you want to be able to get this open. And then for the back of the heel, I just put a little bit of glue right in there and just glue it down. Oh, sorry for not showing me gluing this to the rim. I thought I hit record and I didn't. The next step, we're gonna need our mini boa. You're just gonna wrap this around the base of the hat and measure how much you're gonna need. And this part gets a little messy and a little tricky, but it's not hard. So you're just gonna lay down the glue right in here on this, where the red band is. Just bead the glue around here to stick your mini boa on. And you could even use red mini boa if you had it. Red would look really cute on this. I actually have red mini boa. And now I'm thinking, should I rip it back off and do do the red. Okay, so I decided that I'm gonna just rip it back off and I'm gonna replace it with red. And I actually even have black mini boa that would even look cute on this as well. Any of these colors will look good. I just thought it was having a little bit too much white going on, but white's totally fine. I just think I'm changing it up here. I think it's gonna look cute. Just glue that around. You're just going to need any piece of string. This is stretch cord, but any string will do for the top part. Because on the hat right here, I'm kind of wanting just to like have it over to the side. You can see that, just like, because there's excess up here at the top. So I'm just wanting to like bend it over and then just tie off this last little bit right here. So we're gonna have it tied just like that on the very end. Now we're gonna come back in with our mini boa and wrap that around and just see. We just need a little snip of mini boa, just enough to come around and make a circle, kind of like a tiny circle. It's gonna fit around that. We're gonna make a pom-pom on the end of the hat. It's gonna put glue right around this area right here. And then just wrap your mini boa around it. And then I'm just gonna cut another small piece just for the very tip of the hat. See the ends of the boa right here and right here. And I'm just gonna put glue and connect them and just hold it until it's secure. Now that that's all glued, we're gonna take the top right here and put a little dab of glue right on top. And then we're just gonna stick our little circle down on top of that and kind of just push it in, just so the end's all capped up. So I've actually decided I want to add a little bit of ribbon to this as well, just to give it a little bit more character. So I just want to cut off my ribbon to the length that I think that I'm going to need it. And I'm going to put it up here and around. I'm going to tie it off to the side. Not directly in front, off to the side, so that it'll hang from the side. It just gives it a little bit of whimsy. One a little shorter than the other. I think that's so cute. And I cut another shorter piece that I'm gonna put up at the top as well. And just the different lengths of ribbon are just gonna make it look so cute. That is so adorable. So cute. Enjoyed today's tutorial, please make sure you subscribe and hit that notification button so you will always get notifications when I upload new content. And don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up so I know you enjoyed the video. And don't forget to comment below. I love reading all your comments and I always respond to them. I love reading everything. So I'm just wondering what you think if with the red, or because I changed it from the white. I thought I was gonna go white, but I went red. And the black one that's gonna have the black boa, I'm showing at the very end of this video. These are so cute and they make such perfect gifts. You could even give these to an adult as a gift, or a teen. You could put some money in here with some candy. They just make a cute gift and you made it all by yourself. It's just so totally cute. And the biggest tip that I want to tell you is when gluing this boa on, before you glue the boa on, or even the sock for that matter, to this cap, to this lid, make sure you just take the hat off the gnome. That way you're not getting any glue spillage onto this nose, because if it gets stuck, the lid isn't going to want to come off. So it's just safer to take the hat completely off, glue your sock onto the lid, and then put your boa, glue that around the rim, and then, you know, everything's set, ready to go. And then you can just put your little hat right back on your gnome, just like that. Just fill it with all kinds of treats, and you've got such a perfect gift. I seriously have to defeather myself. This is such a fun project, but it's kind of messy, and I'm probably going to be picking feathers up out of my craft room for the next 2 weeks.